Hi there. Hi from Chamonix, France. It's Dean Cardinal with Worldwide Trekking, and I'm doing one of our remote live webinars. I'm in Chamonix, France. I just finished a trip through the Alps, the Matterhorn to the Mont Blanc adventure. It's our trip through Switzerland, Italy, and we end in France. And the group went back this morning. So I have another trip that starts tomorrow here again, doing the same trip. And I wanted to share a little update with you about this summer, what we've been up to, and where we've been, and a little bit more details about the trip that I just ran here. So what I usually do is share my screen. It has been a busy summer for us. We've been busy winter, actually. We had a couple trips on Kilimanjaro throughout December and the New Year's, which was really nice. And then I ran a couple of trips in the British Virgin Islands. And then through the springtime, early spring, late winter, we're getting ready for the summer. The summer is usually our busiest time of the year. We've got a lot of people that travel, a lot of people that vacation, and a lot of people that come on our trips. So I do stay busy in the office. The office staff stays really busy. And our first trip this spring was one of our Utah Mighty Five adventures. We had a group down there. It was a university group, and ran them down through all five Utah national parks. We had a lot of snow this year in Utah. So the Grand Canyon North Rim was closed, so we could not do the North Rim of the Grand Canyon. It was in early May, and they didn't open until the first week of June this year with all the snow there in the North Rim of the Grand Canyon. But we did the Utah Mighty Five. Utah has five amazing national parks: Zion, Bryce, Capitol Reef, Arches, and Canyonlands. And we also visited a number of other sites along the way. There's a lot of archaeological sites, Native American rock art, dinosaur tracks, and things like that. On our Utah trips, we are hotel based. It's a moderately rated trip. And it is a trip where we usually have dinners in nice restaurants at night, picnics along the trail, and then breakfasts in the hotel before we embark on the next day's journey. So it's a really fun trip. People really like it. We have beautiful lodges that we stay in and hotels in the different areas outside of the national parks as we travel through southern Utah. And you really see a lot. It's an incredible journey, and every day is different. Every national park in Utah is quite different, and it's just really fun throughout. This was a Stanford alumni group. We also had run a trip earlier in March when it's a little cooler down in southern Utah, but a really nice time to visit. There's very few people down in the desert then. When I was there in May, it was just an amazing time for wildflowers. It was a super bloom in the desert, and it was just a really, really nice week to be there. Also in Utah right now, throughout the summer, we're running our Hop Outdoors program. This brings kids from at-risk areas of Salt Lake City up to Snowbird, where they can ride the tram and go for a hike and have a picnic lunch up there at the ski resort in the summertime. And it is fantastic. We had hundreds of kids that'll be doing this throughout the summer. They've been going since the end of June. They'll go right through July and August. And we usually run trips 3 days a week up to Snowbird with our Hop Outdoors program. As well, we've been busy elsewhere. I don't guide all the trips. We have other guides that are guiding trips all around the world. We've run 3 trips in Iceland this summer. Really an amazing adventure where people can, hike all day. It's also hotel based. And Iceland just has so many fascinating and fantastic outdoor sights to see, from waterfalls to lava flows to incredible views and glaciers. So it's just a really fun adventure. Iceland's been very popular for us the last few years. And the best time to go up there is usually July and August. We do some at the end of June, but it's the summer months where the days are long and the weather is really nice for us up in Iceland. After I finished the Utah trip in early June, I flew to Tanzania, Africa. I've been gone since then. I got over to Tanzania in East Africa. We go there a lot. I was there twice this winter doing Kilimanjaro climbs, and we did our annual climb for Kilimanjaro for kids, and it was really amazing. What we do is, many of you probably know, we have an orphanage facility in Tanzania there on 5 acres of land. And we have also our local staff at the orphanage and all of our mountain crew. And we take them all on a 2-day safari as we kick off the season each year. And it's really nice. We go out to a hotel with the kids and the families all get to spend some time in the pool in the afternoon, and then they have a nice dinner. And then the next day we go to the Ngoro Conservation Area. And for our kids and all of our staff and team members from the mountains, our guys from our crew from the mountains kids, it's a really great opportunity for them to see the jobs and the reason why 1.5 million tourists come to Tanzania every year. And this is something that they don't get to do. So we're able to bring them into the crater and have a great safari, seeing all of the big wildlife, and the kids just love it. It's just fantastic for them. And it's something that's really special. This was kind of this year how we kicked off our Kilimanjaro Climb for Kids event that I will be guiding every year. And we spent about a week where we had time at the Kilimanjaro Kids community. You can see our 5 acres here right in front of Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. And we have 32 kids there. We just broke ground on another dormitory, so we're going to put in a second dormitory, and we've done a lot of improvements this year to really finish off our facility. It's been really fantastic. A big special thank you to Cool Clothing in Salt Lake City. They helped get us 30 mountain bikes for the kids this year. We shipped them over in the middle of the winter, and they arrived about a week before our event over there. And we were able to, with help from some of the folks that came over to join us, build all the mountain bikes and get all the kids on the bikes. And that's something that's incredibly exciting for them. We had 2 groups that showed up early for the Kilimanjaro Climb for Kids. Some came in just for the humanitarian portion, the safari, the days at the Kilimanjaro Kids community, and then we were also able to do some projects with the kids. We did some art projects and some fun projects and some different things around our facility. And then we had another group that was there to primarily climb Kilimanjaro. So when they showed up, we were able to visit one of the 2 schools that we have a school lunch program at. We have 2 school lunch programs in Tanzania. Each one of them feeds approximately 1,000 kids or more lunch every single day of the school year. So it's a really great program. They get corn and beans every day, a nice hot lunch, and without that meal, they would have no meal all day in school. So our climbers and our hop participators were able to join us and go to the school, tour the school, see our program, and then actually serve the kids lunch that day. So that was a really nice thing to do. Then after we had concluded the events for a few days of the pre-trip hop things, this is the group that embarked on the Kilimanjaro climb. And I'm happy to say that all 14 of them made the top of Uhuru Peak, 19,341 feet. It is an incredible journey through 5 eco changes and something that many, many people can do. I would say that this is a strenuous rated climb, and it is challenging for people, especially the summit night. But that being said, we have an extremely high success rate, extremely high safety rate, and all of our group made it up this climb. We had a group right before this climb, and we just finished with another group. So we had three groups on Kilimanjaro this summer. We had 2 this winter, and it is just a fantastic way to see Mount Kilimanjaro and Kilimanjaro National Park. I always like to give a shout out to our crew. Our crew on the mountain cannot be beat. I've been working with these guys for, the better part of 18 years, and they just keep getting better and better, from food service to our customer care to all of the camps, and the way that we set up our camps are very unique and special. I've spent a lot of time on Kilimanjaro, and it's really fun to make all those little details come together on the mountain, so people are comfortable on the mountain and they can enjoy themselves, see the 5 different eco changes, and stand on the roof of Africa, Uhuru Peak. And like I said, 19,341 feet is not an easy feat, but they do it, and they are very proud, well-deserved, proud of themselves, and really go home with an accomplishment after climbing Kilimanjaro. Many of them after the climb, usually most of the climbers embark on a 4-day safari afterwards through the Serengeti National Park, the Ngoro Conservation Area, Lake Manyara, and the other big wild game parks in East Africa. It's really hard to go to Kilimanjaro and not at least do a 4-day safari afterwards. So that is something that we usually add on right after the climb. They head out the next day after breakfast. For me, I didn't do the safari. I flew to Geneva, Switzerland, and got ready for my first group. We have 4 groups here doing the Matterhorn to the Mont Blanc this summer and into the fall. So that's exciting. This is a very popular trip for us, and rightfully so. It is hiking paradise. It is just incredible. I finished this morning saying goodbye to a group at the airport, and I start tomorrow morning, pick another group up, and it's fantastic. I love it, and it's just one of those journeys that is truly incredible. This last group that I had, they've been with me a number of times. They've come to Peru with me to trek the Santa Cruz trek. They've climbed Kilimanjaro with me. There are a couple big families that come together, and we had a great time here in the Alps. And this trip here, this is us just yesterday, actually, or day before yesterday, on the Croix de Fer, which is a mountain in Switzerland, where we hiked over the border from France into Switzerland. We started our day in Italy this morning, and absolutely beautiful views, great hiking, mountain hut lunches, and I'll go through this all in a little bit more detail as we go. This is called our European Alps Matterhorn to the Mont Blanc adventure, and it's a trip that starts in Switzerland, comes over into Italy, and then concludes in France. So we see 3 countries, we see the difference between them all, and we get to hike and be outside in all of them, but we also get to enjoy a number of alpine villages along the way, which is really nice way to go. It's a moderate rated trip, and if you saw on some of those pictures, that family had small kids. One of the kids was 7 years old that was hiking on this trip. And they even had they had a 10-month-old baby that they put in the baby backpack. And that's something I'd only do with a private group, but I've been with them before. So I felt comfortable with that. And they also could opt out. The moderate level trips, we hike on average about 5-6 miles a day. Sometimes we're 8-9 miles, depending on the terrain and the terrain that we can cover. But it also gives people the ability that after a few days on the trip or so, if they want to take a day off from the hike, they could hang out in the village where we are, do some things on their own. And then we're usually back to the village by about 3 or 3:30 in the afternoon, where we all come together. People usually have a little break at that time of day where they can go explore the villages. And then we all meet up for dinner. We have dinners every night. So with this trip, groups arrive in Geneva, Switzerland. So it's pretty easy flight into Geneva, where we meet you at the airport, and then we start our trip. The best time of year for this is mid-June through July and August into September. We usually run trips into about mid-September, and that's our main trip. The reason being is by mid-September, some of the lifts that we use are starting to close down. But if we did something after that, there are so many options for us that we can bypass some of the lift assisted days and do other hikes. This is a lift assisted trip, so we use a lot of the European lift system to get us high above the tree line into the alpine terrain, where we hike during the day and then maybe take the lifts back down. Some days we don't use the lifts at all, but most of the days we are using some lift assist as we go. We start in Zermatt, Switzerland. And one of the unique things about this trip is it's not extremely high altitude. The Alps are not extremely high in the villages where we stay. So acclimatization is very easy. It's not really an issue at all. Here in Zermatt, Switzerland, the first night we're just over 5,000 feet. You can see the Matterhorn there in the background. This is a town where we take the vans to a train station, and then we have to take trains up. It's an auto-free zone in the town. We arrive in Zermatt and have our first dinner, spend the night. We do an orientation briefing, talk about the week, make sure that everybody has the proper gear they're going to need for the week, and everybody's ready to go. And again, we stay in beautiful hotels each evening on this trip. The nice thing about this trip is we're 2 nights in each one of the villages, so we don't move every single day. So people have 2 nights in each hotel, which is usually a little bit more comfortable. But it's also that sweet spot, I feel, that after 2 nights, you're kind of ready to see something new and go to a new village and see some new scenery. So it works out very nicely that way. And again, on this trip each evening, we have chose over years of doing this very hand-selected restaurants. I like family-run restaurants that I know the people, we know the people that are running them. Oftentimes, the owner of the restaurant is also right there in the dining room serving and around, which makes a really nice atmosphere and incredible food, as you can imagine, throughout these 3 countries. This is a picture of the funicular, which we take the first day up to a gondola. There's a number of different types of lifts that we use. A funicular is a train that goes through the mountain, basically on a cog rail. There's aerial tramways, there's gondolas, there's chair lifts, and some trains that we use. So it's just really great access. You can see here on the first day, as we get up off the gondola, we hike under the Matterhorn there in the background, past 5 incredible alpine lakes with great vistas of the Matterhorn in the background, and these 5 beautiful lakes. After 2 nights in Zermatt, then we take the train down to Tosh. You can see in the upper right-hand corner, medium-sized, large-sized rolling suitcase is a great piece of luggage for this trip. So it's easy access in and out of the hotels, and easier for you as you travel. We give you an extensive gear list, so you know just what to bring, and you're not concerned about what you do or don't need, and we can always help consult you. After we leave Zermatt, Switzerland, we drive down the valley and over, and we take a series of gondolas up into Verbier, Switzerland, where we do another day of lift assisted hiking. We take a walk through town. We take a gondola up at the far end of town. We do the balcony hike above the village, which is incredibly scenic, of the mountains and the village. And then we come across to a mid station where we take a chairlift to a series of tramways right up to the top of this area called the Mont Fort. And this is their summit. It's about 11,000 feet, just shy of 11,000 feet. And we hike up onto the top to see all these incredible views of the Alps. From here, we can see the Matterhorn, and on a clear day, we can see all the way to the Mont Blanc in Chamonix, France. So it's a great way for us to get a good vantage point of the entire Alps. And then after we come back down that series of lifts down to the bottom of Verbier, Switzerland, we'll drive over, and it's only about an hour plus that puts us into the Aosta Valley and Aosta, Italy, which is what's known as the Rome of the Alps. You can see in the lower part of the screen here the Roman ruins there. That's one of the theaters. There's a fortified city. We stay right in that old fortified city in Aosta. It's all pedestrian walking ways, cobblestone streets, and a really great atmosphere for people as we go out for dinner that night. And then the next day we go up into the Gran Paradiso National Park up in Cogne, Italy. And then we're usually back down by about 3:30 in the afternoon, where people can go see some of these Roman ruins in their free time after our hike and before we go to dinner. And just exploring around here, the nice thing is this village doesn't have that tourist feel at all. And it's more just Italians and Italians out on weekends and things like that. Bustling nonetheless, but really, really a fun vibe that's there. So this is where we go for our hikes up there in Cogne. It's about another village at about 5,000 feet. Gran Paradiso National Park is Italy's oldest national park. And Gran Paradiso Mountain in the upper right picture there, well in the back, and that's Cogne, the little village there where we kind of spend the day. We ride a lift up, and then we do a hike up around the top called the Belvedere hike, and then we take the lift back down. And then in the afternoon, we go up to this village called Lelaz, which has these incredible waterfalls. And we usually get some gelato because we're in Italy, and we just have a great day out there. So yeah, really beautiful scenery. After 2 nights in Aosta, Italy, we then go up to Courmayeur, Italy. So now we're just a little bit higher. We're up close to the Monte Bianco, which is the south side of the Mont Blanc Massif. And we are in Courmayeur. We stay again in a hotel that's right on the pedestrian streets there of the small village, and it's set right up close to the mountains. So the backdrop is just incredible from town, as you can see in the photo. And then we hike 2 different days here. We hike 2 different portions of the Tour de Mont Blanc trail, the TMB. And that trail, we go both ways. We don't use lifts either of these days. We usually hike up to a hut. We go to the Bartoni hut, we go to the Elisabetta hut, and we have lunch there. And then we return back down and go back down into Courmayeur. So really great couple days in Courmayeur, Italy, and just fantastic, beautiful views. In this photo here, I'll use my pointer. You can see the refuge, the hut right here that we hike up to for lunch. We go up there, we order off the menu. It's really a nice balance for us with hut lunches, In Zermatt, we do a hut lunch, and then in Verbier, we do a picnic lunch on the trail. And sometimes we do the picnic lunches when knowing exactly when we're going to be in a certain area is tricky to time. So we get nice bakery sandwiches and a nice spread of food for people to pack their snack packs and lunches, and we eat out on the trail. And that balance is really nice. It mixes it up. So you're doing some hut lunches and some picnics along the way. Some more pictures of Courmayeur. You can see this is the area on the lower right where we hike up to the refuge for lunch. On the lower left was one of the days where it was raining, so we ate inside the hut. Oftentimes we eat outside on the terrace, or if the winds are up or if it's cooler, we'll eat inside. It really depends. We always make reservations at all the huts, so we know we have a table. They're expecting us. And again, these are places that are run by the same families and people for year after year. So we build those relationships, and they welcome us in, and it's really fantastic. So after 2 days in Courmayeur, Italy, we then go through this tunnel. I'll put this slide in here just to show you. This is the Mont Blanc tunnel. This tunnel goes right through and under. We cross the border here into France and pop out in Chamonix, France. Here's the Mont Blanc Massif, about 15,771 feet, I believe. And we pop out in France that morning, and Chamonix is about 3,300 feet, so not terribly high, although the relief here in the Alps is dramatic. So it's big. From Chamonix, France at 3,300 feet, when we take, on the second day, we take the Aiguille de Midi tramways up to the top to 12,606 feet. So it is pretty incredible what we can do in a day, especially with the lifts. We don't generally hike that high. We never really hike that high. We'll go up to some viewing platforms. Usually we'll come down and hike along the mid line of the trails system. So above the tree line, but not well up on the high altitude. So we're usually hiking around 8,000 feet or so, 8 or 9,000 feet. So it's very comfortable for the group. It's very comfortable for guests, and there's no acclimatization really necessary. As always, when we're hiking, we're hydrating well and eating along the way and snacking and things like that. Here's a picture of the Mont Blanc, the highest point in Western Europe. And that Aiguille de Midi, this is from the Aiguille de Midi. So this is a picture of the Mont Blanc with the Bosson Glacier here coming down towards town. And this is an example of some of the bakeries where when we are doing picnic lunches, we go to. They are not bad at all, I can tell you. They're pretty fantastic. And we get a number of sandwiches, usually with larger groups, just like at the mountain huts, we place an order so we don't go in and clean them out of all their sandwiches or all their sweet cakes and that kind of thing. And then on this day, we'll go to the bakery, we'll get our lunch, we'll go up to a village called La Tour. In La Tour, we'll load a gondola. At the top of the gondola, we'll walk over, we'll get on a chairlift, we'll go up to the top of the chairlift. From there, we'll hike across the Col de Baume, which is in the border of France and Switzerland. So then we've left Italy in the morning. We have drove into France. We rode the lifts up into France. And then we hiked from France over the border into Switzerland, where we'll go do a hike to the Croix de Fer, the Iron Cross above Martigny. Fantastic day. Afterwards, we'll come back off. We'll usually make a picnic lunch somewhere on this day in the high grass meadows there. And then afterwards, do some more hiking, come back around and catch the lifts back down into La Tour. So you can see here the lift system. You can see my pointer, the gondola up to the chairlift. We're in France here as we hike over the Col de Baume. The col right here is the Swiss border. We hike up to the La Croix de Fer, and then we'll come across these other mountains here and usually loop in here or loop around in here, back up to the chairlift, and then back down the chairlift, back down the gondola. and usually we're back down by about 3:30 in the afternoon. So it's perfect day, perfect for us along the way. And you can see some of the views here. This is the Latour Glacier here. You can see the Dru sticking out here. You can see the Mont Blanc here. Let's see, we got Chamonix here. We got Latour here. Argentières hidden in here a little bit. And the Guida-Midi tramway is right here where we're going to be going the following day. So some pictures of the hiking traverse that we do with some more of the views from Latour, the small village there. And that is the Iron Cross there that we hike to at the top of that trail. Fantastic. All the trails are quite different than each other. Some do go up through the woods. Some are all in the high alpine. Some are, a little bit more vertically rolling. Some are more gentle incline for a long period of time. So I've really tried to mix it up so there's a big variety. And it's always important to me that from day one, I pace the group out, our guides pace the group out so they can enjoy each day and still be hiking quite well at the end. So even though it's a moderately based trip, I think on that side of it, it shows that if somebody does want an easier day or take a day off, they could. As we get into the trip on any of those double nights in villages, and then meet the group in the afternoon. Or if you are eager to hike every single day, by the end of this trip, like the group I just dropped off today at the airport, they were feeling quite content and quite tired from a 9-day trip where they hiked every single day and good hikes every single day. So at the end of the day here, we come into Chamonix, France. We spend 2 nights here in Chamonix. I'm in Chamonix right now. They stay at a hotel that's right in the center of the center part of town. So everything is easy to just walk out of the hotel and go exploring around and see all the sites. Chamonix has a lot of shops and things to see. And that way people can go maybe do a little shopping or something, because after 2 days here, they're going to be heading home. But first, we're going to have our final day of hiking, which was yesterday, where you ascend the Guida-Midi, the 2 aerial tramways that take you from 3,300 feet in Chamonix on the valley floor up to the mid station, from the mid station to the top of the Aiguille, which is 12,600 feet, which is no problem. You've been hiking all week. And just like going to a ski resort, going to that altitude is no problem for an hour and a half or so while we're up there exploring all of their different observation platforms. And also, there is a number of really nice exhibits in there on acclimatization, on the history of building the place, on the history of mountaineering. Chamonix is known as the birthplace of alpinism. So there's a lot of great exhibits in here to see. And then, of course, just incredible views of the Mont Blanc, all the areas into Italy on the backside, and all of the views as we make our way from platform to platform. So this picture on the right really kind of shows where we land, and we go up an elevator here to these upper decks. We work our way through to these other observation platforms and all the way around. And then we ascend back down to the mid station. On the left here, you can see some of the viewing platforms. Incredible engineering feat, but also incredible views from up there. We then go down to the mid station of the 2 trams, and we get out there and we do the balcony hike across above the Chamonix Valley with great views down onto the valley floor. We make our way over to the Mountain-Verst train, great views of the Dru, looking back at the Mont Blanc and all of the Chamonix Valley. As well, we come up and see the Mer de Glace, which is France's largest glacier. And there is a train called the Mountain Bears train, and that train is over 100 years old. It's a cog rail train that then takes us back into the center of Chamonix, where people on their final day, they have more time for exploring around town and maybe doing a little bit of shopping before they head back. So this is a big picture of the Chamonix Valley, and incredible place to explore. Some people do opt to extend a day or so in Chamonix and do a little exploring or a little hiking on their own at the end. We can help arrange that, and then an airport transfer back to Geneva. The nice thing here is Geneva Airport, where we picked you up in the beginning, is just 1 hour from Chamonix. So it's very easy down the valley, through the Swiss border and right to the Geneva Airport, just about an hour plus, not more than an hour and 10 minutes, and really easy for us at the end, and fantastic trip through the European Alps, again through Switzerland, Italy, and France, 2 nights in each village. We explore Zermatt, Switzerland, Verbier, Switzerland, Aosta, Italy, Cognes, Italy, Courmayeur, Italy, and then on over for our final days in Chamonix, France. So really fun trip. We had a great time with this family here, large family. There was 16 in the group total, and we had a fantastic week. Our group sizes are usually capping at 14 people, unless it's a special group or a private group. And we usually don't take such young children unless it's a private or a special group. So it's really a fun way to go. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I am happy to answer any questions. I see some people on the line. If I can answer any questions in the group chat, I'm happy to do it. If not, I am excited to run this trip 2 more times and then go home to Utah for about a week. And then I'll be heading back to the Dolomites. We've got a new trip in the Dolomites in the Italian Alps. So we fly into Venice and then do 9 days in the Dolomites, UNESCO World Heritage Site, amazing mountain ranges there, hotel-based, moderate level hiking, and just incredible trip there. We have 2 of those going. I'm only guiding with the first one. Then Matt and Tina Biddle are guiding the second trip this year. And then I'll be coming back to do another trip in the European Alps here, the same Matterhorn to the Mont Blanc. And then I'll be home for a little bit before heading over to Nepal in the fall. So it's a busy summer for us at Worldwide Trekking. I just wanted to jump on live from Chamonix, France, do a little bit of an update and share what we've been up to and what we're looking forward to. Hopefully we'll see you on a trip. Contact us in the office if you have any questions. They're there to help out, and we can answer all your questions and make sure that you're comfortable and bring you on the adventure of a lifetime with Worldwide Trekking. Thanks again and have a great day. And it's about 7:30 here in Chamonix, France. I'm heading to dinner and looking forward to another great group here in the Alps starting tomorrow. Thanks again. Have a good night.